tell me you don't like reading because reading is boring, because you don't like reading storybooks, which, by the way, always sounds a little tacky when adults say it. And my first thought is it shows. You can function perfectly fine. You go to work, you pay bills, have friends, hold conversations, but a lot of those conversations feel shallow, predictable, recycled. Because if you never read, you rarely spend time inside ideas that change you, challenge you, disturb you, expand you, or completely change the way you see another human being. And once you notice that difference, you can't unseen it. And now that I have your attention, let's get into today's video. I love books. I love reading. I love the internet. And honestly, I love book content. I make videos about books. I talk about what I'm reading. I buy books because somebody online inspired me to. So this isn't one of those videos where I pretend I'm above internet reading culture. I'm part of it too. But lately, I've been noticing something strange. Reading online feels very different from the way reading used to feel. Because before social media, reading felt quieter. You would discover books almost accidentally. A library shelf, a used bookstore, somebody lending you a worn paperback. Reading felt private. Nobody knew how many books you finished that month. Nobody cared what edition you owned. Nobody was building a personal brand around books. And now, reading is everywhere online, which is beautiful in a lot of ways. More people are talking about books than ever before. Entire communities exist because of BookTube, because people who once felt isolated as readers can now connect with thousands of other people who love stories too. I genuinely think that is wonderful. But I also think the internet changed the atmosphere around reading. Somewhere along the way, books stopped being just books. They became identity. They became part of us. Aesthetic, status, content. I scroll online and it feels like people aren't just reading anymore, they are performing reading. And again, I'm not even criticizing that completely because I enjoy cozy reading content too. I love cute bookstores, I love book hauls, I love quiet reading vlogs, but there are moments where reading online starts to feel less personal and more public. Everything becomes visible, your shelves, your annotations, your reading speed, your yearly goals, your opinions. And when something becomes public online, comparison naturally follows. I'm gonna be late for work. The funny thing is I participate in this too. I set reading goals sometimes, I make videos talking about books. I understand why people track what they read because honestly sometimes it's motivating. There's nothing wrong with sharing books online. But I think the pressure quietly changes the experience for some people. Reading can slowly start feeling less like curiosity and more like performance. You start wondering, am I reading enough? Am I reading the right books? Am I smart enough? Do people take my reading seriously? I think a lot of readers feel that pressure now, even if they don't admit it. Another thing I've noticed is how quickly books became personality tests online. People judge each other constantly based on reading taste. Literary fiction versus fantasy. Popular books versus classics. Romance versus serious literature. And honestly, I think one of the saddest things about reading culture online is when books became tools for superiority instead of connection. Because reading is supposed to expand people, not make them feel smaller. I've seen readers apologize for what they enjoy reading. Imagine that. Somebody feels embarrassed for liking a certain genre because strangers online decided it wasn't intellectual enough. That is very strange when you think about it. A person reading a book they love should never feel ashamed of that. And then there is the aesthetic side of reading culture. The perfect shelves, the expensive editions, the cozy lighting, the matching tabs and annotations. And listen, I understand the appeal completely. Human beings romanticize what they love. I do it too. Sometimes I wonder if people now feel pressure not just to read, but to look like readers. And those are two different things. At the same time, though, I don't think this is entirely negative because despite everything, people are clearly craving books again. I think people are exhausted by constant scrolling and noise. Reading offers something the internet rarely gives us anymore: focus, quiet, solitude, patience. You cannot fully multitask with a novel. A book asks you to slow down and stay present for a while. And honestly, in today's world, that feels almost rebellious. So, no, I don't think the internet ruined reading. I think it transformed it. Some of those changes are amazing: more accessibility, more conversations, more communities, more excitement around books. I also think it's important to protect the quieter side of reading, the private side, the side that exists away from algorithms and opinions and performance. At the end of the day, books are not trophies, or are they? They are not proof that somebody is smarter than somebody else. Reading is not a competition. It's a relationship between a person and a story. And maybe the best reading experiences still happen the same way they always did: quietly, slowly, and away from the noise. Thank you so much for watching.